Alright, 4 minutes late, but that'll have to do. I have to use a monkey. I swapped the monkey cam. The monkey cam is the regular cam now. The regular camera won't even respond to anything anymore. I can't get to plug in any computer. Well, hopefully they'll got to honor. Hopefully there's like a 1-year warranty. I have no idea. But it's busted ass. So no monkey cam right now. I apologize. I will have to use that sweet cash that was sent to me last show to get a new camera. So we have a monkey cam for everybody to look at, but there's no monkey right now. She's on the floor. Anyway, welcome everybody. Used to have a problem. Man, what a shit show today. So, you were living under a rock. 10 minutes before close today, Seeking Alpha published an article stating that Ryan Cohen had sold everything he owns in Bed Bath & Beyond, causing the price to collapse, just drop huge amounts in minutes. They lied. He did not sell his position. He filed a 144, which is basically something that anyone who owns 10% of a company or more, and they plan on selling shares or option securities in the company that they own, they have to file this paperwork saying that within 90 days, they reserve the right to sell some stuff. They don't have to sell anything, but they reserve the right. This is something that someone who's in a giant squeeze play might do, because they own a huge chunk of the company. And if you are in a squeeze play, you think that's going to squeeze the next 90 days, you're going to want to file that stuff. You're going to want to say, maybe I'm going to exercise my options, maybe I'm going to sell them, maybe I'm going to sell some stock, whatever. But he did not sell, and why would he sell? The price is going to go friggin' nuts. Last Friday, we pushed 90% of the float in the money. We had, 600, 700, 800 million shares trade this week? Bonkers. And if he sold today, he'd be selling at what he bought in for. That doesn't make any sense. Why would he do that? No, he is not sold. And Seeking Alpha later, after causing massive panic among the retail investors, was like, he reserves the right to sell. Whoa. And they lied and they caused the price to stay. It was manipulation, straight up manipulation. And hope somebody at the SEC and the FBI is looking into that. Anyway, now that we know that he didn't sell, that we are going to have, another 10, 20 million shares go in the money on Friday for Bed Bath & Beyond. Plus, they're on the Reg Show restricted list, which means there's nothing to borrow. And they can't short it legitimately. The only way they can short is through market makers using their special superhuman powers. And any share that's sold short is now on a T13 you're going to die list. And those start coming up the first week of September. That's going to make some forced buying happen for possibly hundreds of millions of shares that do not exist, that they've been trading all week. I think Bed Bath & Beyond going to go into 3 figures minimum come September. I did pick up some calls today because I'm an idiot and I got rid of my calls last week. So, doing it again. So, until then, you get one of these. All right. Okay, so that's off. We did it. I think this marks a week or no, it's just 2 days maybe without. Anyway, so far we're not going to be second intros this week. Whoo. Okay. To your questions. Guitar stuff. Houston. What causes fjords, and why was the Puget Sound formed while the mountains and the San Juans and Olympics arose? I actually don't know too much about the geology of the San Juans. Yeah, it's mostly glacial deposits. There are a couple of sedimentary and volcanic rocks as well. Yeah, but for the most part, San Juans do have glacial scouring on them. I know that much because I've seen it. You guys don't know about the San Juans? Oops, wrong. Let's leave you on there. Shaboom. Let's leave Lake Michigan's dingle-dangle looking self and go on the beautiful San Juan Islands where a whole bunch of billionaires have tax shelters. So these are the San Juans, collection of islands here. The glaciers did come down to a number on the San Juans. They scraped almost everything. I wonder if I can get a LiDAR image of the San Juans and show what they look like. But there is a lot of exposed bedrock. The bedrock here is basically baked glacial till that got cooked into a hard rock again. But like, Orcas Island, you can see the fjords in Orcas Island. You can see everything around it, fjords everywhere. And Puget Sound itself is a giant fjord. So the fjords get formed when a huge... I just realized that I should probably put the monkey cam now, down here. That's what we should do. Well, I'm totally distracted. And what were we talking about? Fjords? Fjorden? Fjord. Oops, wrong way. I'm going to go like, oops. There we go. Maybe something like... that'll do it for now. Anyway, big giant blocks of ice, snowed for thousands and thousands of years, made ice that's 4,000 to 6,000 feet thick, and then it wanted to spread out because they needed to go somewhere. And going somewhere meant carving up what is now the Puget Sound and just gouged a giant hole along its way. And the Inland Passage, same thing, Straits of Georgia, all this stuff up here, these are all formed by glaciers. Some of them big, some of them small. Fjords, everywhere. Everywhere, fjord. All the way up the western coast of British Columbia into Alaska. All just glacially carved. There's a glacier right there. Carving stuff out. You can see it's a little washed out, but you can kind of see the snaky trail that the glacier is making to carve a new fjord. You got a little alluvial fan coming off of it, of all the rock and stuff that it's carved out. So it's going to leave a big old pile of gravel where this glacial moraine is. And it's just fjords everywhere. Because, ice does its thing. Ice is ice, baby. Fjords. There. Quick fjord talk. By a fjord. Okay. Tons of fun. Houston had a birthday. Turn off the intro. What do you think about the RC filing 90 days till max till MOAS time to load up on call options? I'm going to try and load up on call options. I'm up a little bit with my Revlon calls. I may revisit them, but I think the most pertinent play right now is going to be Bed Bath & Beyond. Until we get T90, maybe, for GameStop in October, and again for AMC in November. It looks like Bed Bath & Beyond is the one that is just going to rip right now. And I think it's going to rip before Revlon, and then hopefully I can do that, get some calls on Revlon, rip again, and then get my 1,000 shares GME and have ourselves a wonderful time as the world bursts into 1,000 colors. Okay. Guitar stuff. Why is the deepest point in Puget Sound off the Kingston Ferry Dock and not in the middle of Puget Sound? I actually don't know where the deepest point in Puget Sound is, and I guess you just taught me. Off the Kingston Ferry Dock. I mean, is it deepest point though? No. Looks like I can see. You got a shallow bay. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing. This is Kingston. This is Kingston Ferry Dock. There's a shallow bay here. Mud rich, likes to smell in the sunshine. And then there's the dock is, and the ferry goes back and forth between Kingston and Edmonds over here. Bonk, bonk, bounce back and forth. The deepest point in Puget Sound, I think, is 1,200, 1,400 feet. And I know it gets to about 1,200 between Bainbridge and Seattle, which is pretty deep. But I don't know, is it off the Kingston Ferry Dock? I have no idea. I'll have to look that one up. But, Chakuseki, what up? Crazy day of information warfare. Heck yes, crazy day of information warfare. Kramer on a rampage. Someone needs to get him to detox from all the cocaine or the tomatoes he is snorting. Yeah, he has tweeted 1,000 times about how Bed Bath & Beyond isn't going to exist anymore. That they are insolvent and useless and awful and shouldn't exist. And, well, here they are. Stock price is flying. They'll be able to get money because they can borrow against their stock because it's worth a lot. They'll be fine. They're going to be fine. They're going to be a couple $100 a share in 30 days and make a whole bunch of people rich. There's a dude, who was it sent? Was it Julio sent it to me? A guy named Freeman bought 5 million shares at $5.50, sold them today for $130 million. Good for you. I think it's a little early. I think it's going to go a lot higher than that. But you know what? You got your nut. You made $130 million off of your shares. And I can only just tip my cap to you, sir. Good job. You got your nut. I wish that were me. Okay. Tons of fun. If you had $1,000 to play on options, how would you allocate them? $1,000. Well, shit. The deep out of the money calls for January, the things that rip the most, they went up 1,300% since last week, 1,400%. Like those $80 calls that Ryan Cohen had, those are the things that really exploded. They were 30 cents a week ago now, and then they were this morning almost $400, $500. I'm sure they're down now because the stock price dropped below 19 after hours. Let's see here. Where are they? January 2023. Oops, nope, 2023. No, they're still $4.50. They were 30 cents per share a week ago. Damn, son. They're up 1,500%. Not too shabby. And at one point today, it must have been crazy high. Holy smokes. I should have dumped into that. But, yeah. I have some 30 calls. I might do some swaperinos. Do something for September. Here's September 30th. Where are we? My guess is if there's no big buying pre-market, the price of calls are going to go down quite a bit at market open. And so you might be able to pick up stuff in the 20s for fairly cheap. But $1,000 for September 30th will basically get you $121 call as of market close today, which I think will be lower by market open. Or you can do two. Where are we? Two. Scrolling up. Oh, dang! Can't even get two $42 calls. Yeah, dude. Price time to buy was last week when I bought, and then I got rid of them. Oh well, such is life. Sometimes you win, sometimes you're an idiot, and that's just how life goes. Guitar stuff. Also today on Summer Travels, I discovered a Ghirardelli in Anacortes. My mind blown. Oh, you've been here in the Northwest walking around. I've not been to a Ghirardelli in Anacortes. Matter of fact, I never really spent much time in Anacortes other than waiting in the ferry line to go to the San Juans. But hey, Ghirardelli, get some ice cream, put some chocolate on it, have some good old times with that. Chakuseki, yep, buy enough theta. That's what I think. Get something that's a month or 6 weeks out. Should be pretty decent for I think what's about to happen. Playing weeklies, you know, if you don't plan on selling that Monday or Tuesday, then don't hold on to it, because then they're worthless. Tons of fun. Also got some stuff for me. Wow, big dog. Big dog. Oh, dude, you just drank a bunch of water and all slimy. Ew, you slime me. Don't do that. Oh, you think it's funny. You thought that was hilarious. Oops, wait, wrong coordinates. Copy that. I just Control V. That's what we want. There we go. Okay. Well, that's South America stuff this week. Outside Lake Titicaca, we got ourselves. What are you? Some cool Puma Punku. It's like ruins of some kind. Puma Punku. Huh. There are some. Oh, you guys can't see that picture. That's lame. Puma Punku. I'm gonna look that one up. Puma Punku. Puma Punku. Archaeological site, Bolivia. Turn on Chrome. Turn you off. Go there. Go Puma Punku. Done. 6th century T-shaped strategically aligned man-made terraced platform mound with a sunken court and monumental structure on top that is part of the Puma Punku complex. Alright. So as the ruins, these things are very square. They did a good job making these things very square. Alright, so that's Puma Punku. Second most important construction in Tiwanaku. On the names and the areas. So Incans built it, I guess. And then probably got absolutely just ransacked by a bunch of conquistador assholes. And so 8536 to 600. Huh. That is high precision. High precision, small hole. That is very high precision. Look at that thing. Extremely high precision. Like drill holes. What the heck? That is cool. This is very cool. Look at these things. T-cramp socket. Proving the block should be mated with others. So they just shave these blocks down and man, that's cool. Building block techniques are like Legos, man. That's rad. Well, I want to go to this place. See these rocks. Where they are put together, probably get a locking block slid in there. And then Delphi, I guess, had the similar. So this is Delphi in Greece. Had similar locking blocks. Do this type of stuff with woodworking too. Slide a little butterfly block in there, shave it down, locks everything in place. That is rad. Look at that thing. That is so precise. Like that's something that you'd use like a CNC machine to do today. And they're doing it with whatever weird technology they had in 5th century Latin America. So they weren't Latin America then, they were just South America. Some more locking blocks. That stuff's rad. Dude, tons of fun. I need to go to Bolivia. This is cool. I dig it. Thank you. Puma Punku. Punku? Punku. 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 I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. G Font, would you say we are an endgame yet? I think what's happening right now is like a combo. Is it? We had one wind up, which was the GME Splividend. The second wind up we've got coming is the AMC Ape Share. Now we've got Bed Bath & Beyond ready to rip like crazy and make lots of people involved in all these plays a lot more money so they can go in and buy those shares of GME and AMC and everything else they have. We got sleepers like Revlon coming out of nowhere. We have the T90s for those dividends hitting in October and then again in November. Plus the OPEXs keep happening with regularity, pushing things like XRT into thresholds list, causing $5-10 jumps in our favorite stocks. if we aren't end game, we're pretty darn close. And that is nothing, not even counting the fact that Walmart's missing sales targets, Amazon's missing sales targets, Target is missing sales targets. We're seeing the housing market really crawl to a halt. Home sales are now at their lowest since 2011, which was like the bottom of the home sales market. And we've got all sorts of issues with bonds getting paid off or not being paid for multiple nations. Big corporations. We've got huge losses amounting for hedge funds and big institutions. I mean, if you add up all the losses of all these big groups, $2, $3, $4 trillion of just Western institutions and funds. Plus, we have no idea how many losses are in these family funds. The Sovereign Wealth Fund of Norway announced today they had a $175 billion loss this quarter. The Central Bank of Switzerland is hemorrhaging cash like crazy because Credit Suisse has no money. We've got $14 trillion in bonds, municipal and real estate bonds out of China that will never get paid back. So there have to be huge write-offs for all of that. It's going to be pretty epic. Pretty epic. A lot of people are going to lose their shirt, and hopefully I'll be able to collect more cool shirts like this one. This one's a pretty sweet shirt. This was, as far as I know, was a protest shirt made when the Hawaiian language was made illegal in Hawaii, and someone took a whole bunch of Hawaiian language newspapers and made them into shirts. This thing's probably, I don't know, 70, 80 years old. I love this shirt. It's one wear a year, and I try to treat it as the kingly thing it is. Cannot read a lick on this thing. It's all in Hawaiian. I have no idea what any of the articles say. Okay. Jorge Ramirez, blood in the markets today. Yeah. Matthew Bennett, Houston, please tell us about monkeypox. I mean, I don't know if there's anything more to tell you than what we know, which is it's pox virus. It's loosely related to cowpox and smallpox. It is a DNA virus. It likes to linger on surfaces for long periods of time. Usually prolonged exposure is what can lead to infection. It is fatal for those with compromised immune systems and children at 3 to 15%. It is seriously painful, like up there with kidney stones, childbirth, shingles, monkeypox. Everyone describes it as a 10 out of 10 on the pain scale. Absolutely just agony. Right now, we're seeing most transmission among gay men because prolonged skin contact can make it transfer. But it is starting to be seen in people's pets, in children, massage therapists, people at gyms. I think once a few kids get it at school, it's going to spread like crazy because kids are disgusting. They like to pop and pick and do everything else to things. And they'll just slime stuff because that's what they do. They just pick their nose and wipe it on things. So I'd be looking at transmissions at schools from desk to desk, kid to kid. It can be transmitted by air. If you can breathe it in, you get spit in your face or whatever. But the most common is like a scratch or open sore, getting in contact with it and getting into your body that way. We're doubling every week. Every week we have twice as many cases the week before. That is an unhealthy rate of exponential growth. So if you have the opportunity to get vaccinated, do it. U.S. government kind of fucked up. We had 300 million smallpox, monkeypox vaccines in storage for in case there's a terrorist attack, and they just sat there and then expired. So, oops. Why not just, I don't know, get everyone vaccinated? It seems like why put it in storage when you can just store it in someone's arm and you're done? I don't know. That's my opinion. If you're scared about it, give them the vaccine. So, our parents are probably going to be fine because they got the little scar from the smallpox vaccine in their arms and they're cool. the younger generations that did not get a smallpox vaccine, they're the ones who are going to be bearing the brunt of this when it hits harder. So, you know, they're already given up on COVID, so my guess is they'll just give up on smallpox too, and we'll just be like a leper colony of diseased people wandering around in pain all the time, because that just seems to be what they care about. Oh, I can't shut anything down and do anything to protect people, so you're on your own. It's a great way to have a society. Cheap duck and cow, you Sears holding. Oh, does Sears do something today? SHLDQ. 16 cents again. It was at 22 earlier. Still up there, man. It is still up there. So, last 5 days we had a peak of 22. Oh, that was yesterday. And we've been as low as 10 cents in the last week. So it's still right up around where I bought in, which is crazy that it's like a year later. It was September 1st I got taken off of the regular exchanges, and then we had to, expert only, whatever that means, can do the trades. But yeah, well, they're wrapping up their bankruptcy court, so next 6 months or so, might be out of it, selling off assets, paying dividends. DVS, short and distort, giving a nice end of week discount. Next week, OPEC should be interesting, but going on Reg Show does buy them a little extra time. 2nd of September will be forced closing. Yep. So if you're gonna get calls on BBBY, at least some point in September, if not end of September. Grape Houston, can you check out the Ocean Conservation Namibia channel on YouTube? Maybe you can do a Charity Tuesdays for those guys. Also, Daphne vs. Velma for the 2002 Scooby-Doo movie. I never saw the 2002 Scooby-Doo movie, so I don't know. But I like nerds, so maybe Velma. Yeah, Ocean Conservation Namibia. So this month, this Charity Tuesday this month, which will be on the 30th, 31st, 30th. So the 30th Charity Tuesday is going to be to raise money for the flash flood victims in Kentucky. That's what we're going to do this one for. Yeah. So Namibia one, maybe one in the future. But we're going to raise some money for those flash flood victims because they got wiped out. They need help. And natural disasters are happening fairly frequently in places that weren't having them before. But that's what we're going to do for this Charity Tuesday. So if you are somebody in Kentucky, hopefully we can raise money and send it your way at the end of the month here. Ricky Flores, AMC looks like it wants to fall under 20. I think it will. I think they'll push AMC down over the next couple weeks until stuff shakes out from the ape shares. Charge Stuff Houston, is it weird that I want BBBY calls now? No, I want them too. I want to nurture them and stroke their little heads and then have them pay off for me. DVS also says, Houston, let's look at GME Daily Graph and go to the 4th of January 2021. That's when GME went on Reg Show. And you can see how long after that took to start the squeeze. 13 trading days, time to load. Yeah. Let's do that. GME. Up to 5-year. All right. So, well, you guys can't see what I'm doing. There we are. So here we are. We had some so basically was puny, and this is all prices adjusted for the split. So here we are at like 90 cents and whatever. And then January, December 4th, January, go back. Come on. So on Reg Show, what, the 4th you said? can't quite pinpoint that on this 5-year chart. One pixel is apparently a week. And then 13 days later, shaboom. Yeah. It doesn't even register the, well, I guess that's the 380 or whatever. Yeah, and then major collapse, and then shaboom again. So, get ourselves 2 weeks. It's going to be good. It's going to be real good. Tom Zock. Good morning, Houston. Can we have some kind of schedule for your shows? Oh, hi. So, I don't necessarily know what time I'm doing my shows. That's the thing. I got some stuff that happens during the day, and then when the weather gets gnarly, like it's 90 degrees today, tomorrow, Friday, it's unbearable upstairs in my house, so I just can't do a show during the day, so that's why I'm doing the nighttime ones. When it starts to cool off, I'll be back to doing my daytime shows, which are usually around half an hour after market close. That's when I have the chance to do them, if it is the daytime. So, but I try to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Most Wednesday, Fridays. And that's just it. I don't have a regular time for the show. I'm sorry, Tom Zock. It's very much show up when you show up. Hopefully I'm doing one. And if not, watch it later if you like watching things later. So, sorry. Yeah. So I do follow me on Twitter. I do try to give notification that I'm doing a show. Like tonight, I only give a 15-minute notification, but usually it's about half an hour or so, saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be going live in half an hour," and that's the social media I use for yakking about the show. I'm caught smoothie. Go Mariners! Heck yeah! For the global warming whitewashers out there, please explain why rising sea levels is so much more of a problem than just people forced to move farther from the coastlines. Man, all right. So, let's just look at the ocean. Let's look at the ocean. Oh, so I'm getting the warning that YouTube, Google, why aren't you? Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm leaving Bolivia in that really cool ruin. Puma, Punku. Not too far from Lake Titicaca. Okay, so we got ocean line all along the coast here, but the coast of South America, very steep. The coast of the West Pacific coast of Latin America, Central America, quite steep. Mexico, quite steep. Western United States, quite steep. Canada, Alaska, quite steep. It is the sort of sedimentary alluvial fan sections of the continents, the sides where land is spreading apart, that is very flat, very marshy, lots of estuaries and bogs, and places like Florida, where the elevation is, at most 40, 50 feet across. I think the highest point in Florida, natural point, is around 300 feet, somewhere up this area, 126, 120. And the Miami-Dade garbage dump is like 300 feet high also. But when the ocean levels rise, the ocean water comes in. Ocean water has a lot of mass to it and actually depresses the ground, pushing it down further. So there is actually depressions that happen as a result of all this water coming in. And, it's going to flood not just homes, not just businesses, not just roads and communities. It's going to flood ports, airports, nuclear power plants, solid waste treatment facilities, chemical refineries, oil refineries. Lots of stuff is contained in the shore zones along these places. And then you got cities like New Orleans, which are technically underwater. They're below sea level. You've got major naval bases. They'll be flooded, and the ports will be useless. Places like Manhattan, the financial capital of the world, underwater. And think about the toxic pollutants when you have essentially, 1 million miles of coastline around the world suddenly underwater, where 70% of the population lives. And, most major cities are within 100 feet of sea level. London, gone. Paris, gone. Like, Tokyo, gone. Mumbai, gone. Hong Kong, well, Hong Kong does have some steep hills, but most of the downtown portion of Hong Kong, gone. Sydney, gone. It's Seoul, Korea, gone. We saw the damage that happened from Fukushima, from a 30-foot wave smacking into the nuclear power plant. Where's Fukushima? Somewhere up here. Smacking into the nuclear power plant and just flooding all sorts of nuclear material into the oceans and making a 200 square mile dead zone and all sorts of things. Now imagine if like 80% of every nuclear power plant on Earth had that happen all at once. That is what ocean levels rising at a fast rate because a huge glacier fell off of Greenland or the Western Arctic ice shelf or something. And you're looking at 10-foot sea level rise overnight as a result of one of those things. You probably have several hundred million, if not a billion, dead. Nuclear disasters everywhere. Oil refineries flooded. The logistics chain gone because not a single ship can make it to port anywhere on Earth. Couldn't be fueled, can't unload cargo. Done. Rising sea level, which is increasing in the way it rises. Every year it rises by a larger amount. In 1990, sea levels were rising at like 1.2, 1.3 millimeters a year. Now they're rising almost 4 millimeters a year. That's quite the change. It is a logarithmic amount of ocean growth. And the ocean sea level rising isn't necessarily all ice on land melting and going to the water. It's also the water itself warming up. And when things warm, they expand. So ocean levels actually are fluffier than they used to be because they have so much more thermal energy than they had before. So ocean levels are rising in two ways. Certain places are sinking. Land isn't necessarily as steady as people want to believe. Like Norfolk, Virginia is sinking. And it's where we have the East Coast, like where all the Navy ships are on the East Coast. There's Norfolk. And so Norfolk as a city, it's sinking. It's built on a marsh, and that marsh is getting pumped dry from wells and everything else, and the whole city is dropping in the ocean while the ocean is rising. And there are several days a year when like large portions of Norfolk are underwater due to king's tides and everything else. Venice is having the same problem. Miami's having the same problem. When you build cities on bogs, the bogs aren't very strong ground, and if you pump all the water out of those bogs, when Mexico City was built on a giant lake, they pumped all the water out, and now the whole city is sunk like 100 feet as a result. The Central Valley of California. So this big valley right here in Central California, this is where like 1/5 of the food production in North America comes from. Most of the vegetables you eat, if they're not from like South America, they're coming from the Central Valley in California, and they pump an obscene amount of water from the Colorado River into this zone to irrigate a lot of very thirsty plants. And then for some reason they're growing hazelnuts and pistachios and almonds, which are some of the most water-intensive crops on Earth. Like the almond crop alone uses like 10 times as much water as all of like Los Angeles County just for almonds. It's insane. But water is getting short in the Colorado River. They don't have as much water to irrigate, so people are pumping groundwater, ancient groundwater, out from under this valley, and the valley has dropped in some places over 100 feet, which is bad because this entire valley used to be a seafloor. And you get close to Stockton, Sacramento, you're at, some places are under sea level. Like right here, -2 feet. This place right here is under sea level, right? So what happens when the estuary of the Sacramento River, right, sea level rises just a little bit, they pump out too much groundwater here, so it drops, and all of a sudden the Pacific Ocean floods in, pushing the ground down even further, causing more places to sink and become underwater. Sacramento, Stockton, all these places, Modesto, they're underwater and they're toast. That whole zone is just going to get pulled down further and further. You're going to have yourself a subtropical inland sea full of all sorts of herbicides, pesticides, oil refineries. The oil drilling that happens along this part is just insane as well. Flooding Los Banos, probably not a good idea. But it's gonna be gnarly. It's gonna be really gnarly. Gnarly and squirrely, baby. All right. Oh, and Hans, you guys are just flooding me with the... I love it. I know some people hate the coordinates, like, stop doing coordinates, but I fucking love looking at maps, so I do this for me. Alright. Oh, we're back down Louisiana? Or is it? What is this? What we got here? Six Flags, New Orleans. That's a big parking lot with a very small Six Flags. That's a very tiny Six Flags. Looks really kind of overgrown. I think it's F. Is this place even used? Looks like it's completely overgrown and abandoned. Is Six Flags New Orleans? Been closed since Hurricane Katrina struck 2005. Oh, so it is abandoned. Alright. So opened in 2000 and then closed in 2005. Oof. Owned by the City of New Orleans. Redeveloped into a Nickelodeon branded water theme park. Well, that was 14 years ago. 13 years ago. Huh. Site still shut down. Well, that's eerie. That could be an airport at this point. Look how huge that parking lot is. Dang, man, that's a lot of parking. Well, who wants to go ghost hunting over in the Six Flags, New Orleans? Sounds fun to me. Let's do it. Thank you, Hans. That's a good spot. Neil Simpson, Houston, what happens if and when 100% of the GME float is DRS'd? Everyone else just left with synthetics in their brokerage accounts? Yeah. They have synthetics, and all the synthetics need to be closed. Which means massive buying is going to take place eventually. Tom Zock, by the way, Ryan Cohen now. Pre-market in Germany is about to open in 15 minutes. Alright. Let us know what's happening there. I will assume I'll scroll down. I'm now 45 minutes behind, so I'll see that in another 15, 20 minutes or so. Alright, Jason Blackwell. Einfachmann's DD on BBBY is top post on Superstock. 90 days to Rockets. His DD has been really solid the past and doesn't post, just get up toots like me. Alright. Good to know. Guitar stuff. If Ryan Cohen sells his BBBY, how is that different than Adam Aaron selling AMC shares in June 21? Ryan Cohen is not on the board at Bed Bath & Beyond. That's the difference. So, he's just an investor dude like us. He's not a member of the board. He doesn't make decisions at Bed Bath & Beyond. He's just a large shareholder because he's rich, and he can be. Not my name. Have you seen the lady on CNBC contradict every other talking head? Their faces are big O's. She explains the Cohen options purchase being months ago, and it shouldn't be the reason for price action. The reason for price action is that big dog, quit trying to put your face on me. Is that price went up because T35s happened. And then the price went up so high, they pushed too much the float in the money. And then they had to buy a whole bunch on Monday and Tuesday. And so the price skyrocketed. And now they're delta hedging, so they got to buy even more. And they can't deliver on their any of their shares that they naked sold the other day. And because it's on reg show threshold list, they have 13 days to find those shares and pay back, and they can't find them. So they're doing high-frequency trading, trying to push the stock prices around, and that's where we are. Yeah, it's gonna be wild, man. We're gonna have 90% of the float went in the money last Friday. This Friday is the monthlies, which I think the stock price is $20 pushes 100% of the float over, and we could possibly see $30. We saw $30 today before all the FUD happened. So $30. Very doable, right, big dog? Right, you big smiley beast?
Yeah.
Okay. You push a lot of air, buddy. You're a very breathy dog. Alright. Hassan Bell talking about Netherlands' primary defense against flooding. Oh, it's got one of the dike systems. So we're looking at our pump station. Shabam, shabam, shabam. All right, big dog. So this looks like water. Got a highway across the water. We got. Is this the dike systems along here, though? Is this where they are? Must be along there. BDSM party? What? Okay, wait a minute. What's happening here? It's just a picture of a house that says BDSM party. That has me very curious. What now? Right, big dog? What? I totally lost track of what we're doing here, Hansen. But apparently you can get spanked right here next to the dike. So, you know, right there. BDSM party. Google. I learn something new from you every single solitary day of the week. It's right up there with the Shalom Wizard Academy that we found in the Philippines while playing GeoGuessr. I have to go to Shalom Wizard Academy real quick. Alright, where are we? Philippines. Give me that north-south. Okay. And General Santos City. It's in General Santos City. Come on, Shalom Wizard Academy. Let's hope I can find you. Alright. Give me them special places. Somewhere up here. Shalom. I should type it in. Shalom Wizard Academy. Don't zoom out. Give me that Shalom Wizard Academy. Where are you? Where are you? Got all the other schools listed, but not Shalom Wizard Academy? Oh, Shalom Crest Wizard Academy. That's what we want. Yes. Haha. Shalom Crest Wizard Academy. I don't know. There doesn't seem to be a building at the Shalom Crest Wizard Academy. They do have a pond. But you can become a Filipino Jewish wizard at the Shalom Crest Wizard Academy. That is definitely a MOAS travel point for me, is to go get my photo taken at the Shalom Crest Wizard Academy. And see, they wear yarmulkes instead of wizard caps? I'm not quite sure. It's fantastic. Okay. Herogasm. Alright. Daphne, early morning Zoom with Spain scheduled. It's okay, Daphne. Sorry, won't be able to hang out. And sorry I keep doing late shows so late, but it's so warm. Johnny. Houston is building a habitat into an asteroid, a viable idea. Aren't they just a bunch of loose gravel? Depends on what kind of asteroid. Some of them are kind of bits of loose gravel, or at least igneous rock. Others are solid metal because they're the interior cores of protoplanets that got blown apart. If you are going to build a habitat, I would suggest one of the metal ones, because you'd have a boatload of resources to mine in the process. They're worth a lot of money. And they'll probably, in the future, build ships out of iron asteroids, use the material in the asteroid to build the ship, and that way you'll have large vessels in space that can move about. It's the idea behind, if you ever watched the TV show Red Dwarf, which is one of the greatest sci-fi shows and comedies ever. The ship Red Dwarf itself was built as a mining vessel It was built out of an asteroid, and it travels space and mines other stuff. It's huge, you know, it's 1,000 decks deep or whatever. Ah, you resetting son of a... Okay. Where were we? JMJ. It's up from Honolulu. Got a Honolulu shirt on, JMJ. This one's straight up Honolulu newspapers from back in the day. White Wolf. Are you planning on reinvesting after the squeeze? If so, what are you looking at? Gold. When I think the S&P 500 has hit rock bottom, probably dump a bunch into SPY or into Vanguard funds. Be able to turn my brain off, which is go sit in a hammock, have the money roll in, be able to fund the charities and things I like to do with that stuff. Man, live a comfy life, right, big dog? You aren't invited. No, you're gonna be stuck with my sister. Yes, you are. Oh yeah, you're gonna be stuck with her. Monkey Butt and I are gonna enjoy ourselves. But yeah, probably mostly that. Maybe if I have friends who have hopes and dreams of having businesses, I would gladly, you know, like my best friend wants to own a brewery. Well, I'll take a 49% interest in a brewery. Have at it, my man. Do your thing. Big dog, quit breathing on me. Your breath is so warm. So warm. You breathe on me. No, it's so warm. It's so warm. Stop breathing on me. No, stop breathing on me. Just go breathe somewhere else. Okay. A non-C-SPAN lover. Hello, love you, Houston. Your insights are appreciated. Question. Thoughts on long, mid-term, term life ending planning, Euro or neo-modern East Asian style? I'd love to pay for good end-of-life experience later. What? Oh, we're talking about like living in old people's home? Somewhere else? My older sibling's grandma was like a rich southern debutante lady, and she lived in this crazy place in Dana Point, California, that was like, you have your own independent living condo, and then as you get older and more feeble, you move into like more assisted living, like step down or step up. I'm not sure which way it'd be. But she would, you know, play her bridge and drink a lot of gin and be mildly racist, and lived her great life until that was it. At 99, I think, is when she passed away. But you know, she was there with like billionaire moms of billionaires and stuff, having a great time. I think end of life, the way to go is probably to a country that has universal health care. A pretty good healthcare system, because like Medicare is better than regular insurance, but still, you still got to pay out of pocket. Still get service denied, treatment denied. You know, a lot of folks I know like retire to Mexico or Costa Rica or Panama, and while they might have beautiful locations that are cheap, they might not necessarily have a hospital that's nearby. So if they have a heart attack, the likelihood of survival is much lower. Trying to go to a place that's a little bit cheaper and has great health care might be the way to go. Hamfingers, Houston, is it not costing them a fortune to attack us like this? I think loads of us won't get ape one day. It's been costing them a fortune to attack like crazy. That's why they're posting huge losses right now. But because everyone's so scared to margin call, they're going to keep going. They're going to keep doing it until they're forced to not do it anymore, because they have a gambling problem and aren't willing to admit that they're hosed. Tiger Hedge Fund won't admit it. SoftBank won't admit it. Citadel won't admit it. Melvin kind of admitted it because they're forced to. Archaeology had to admit it because they're forced to. But everyone else is going to try to survive that another day, knowing full well that they can't do it forever. And that's why I think that, yeah. And I think that's where we're going. G-Front, episode 200 with Girk. Girk would be a good guest for episode 200. Yeah, that's in 15 episodes. Whoa. We did episode 100, I think, while I was skiing in Switzerland. So, 15 days. 15, that's 3 weeks, 5 weeks? It's coming. I gotta think about it. Yes. Chakiseki is not a fun name to say. Yanni Houston, have you heard the bloop of Cthulhu farting? I have not heard Cthulhu farting, but I'm sure any fart from Cthulhu will make you wish you had died 1,000 deaths rather than witness the fart of Cthulhu. Just in my head. Why isn't society Gattaca yet? Well, we don't know how to genetically engineer in the same way yet. That's why. It's harder than we thought. Okay. Unpaid overtime. Can you please explain the uplisting of known to New York Stock Exchange? What's going to happen with OTC stock? Should we buy the OTC stock now and wait for the uplisting? If you have stock in No Labs, when it gets listed in the New York Stock Exchange, that stock will move to the New York Stock Exchange, and you'll be able to trade on the New York Stock Exchange. So, my guess is that they're looking to have the price go up to get listed, although they are trying to sell some more shares. The fact that they're moving to get listed in the New York Stock Exchange tells me that their trials for their non-invasive glucose monitor are going really well, and they expect the FDA to give them a rubber stamp of approval, and they can start marketing their product. That's what that says to me, is that they're willing to move from the OTC up a level. Then they probably have a viable product that's gonna rage. And get in now. That's what that's one of my long-term holds is No Labs. They'll be $100 billion company if they get that glucose monitor approved. They may have competition in the future from other companies doing something similar, but they'll probably be first to market, and that should be worth quite a bit. Chakuseki, Houston, any more data on if there was a margin call or liquidation of a hedge fund when GME spiked into halt while BBY was running? We won't know. They don't announce that stuff until days later, unless internally someone's like, oh my god, we got margin called. We won't know at all. But I was not expecting GME to have any runs this week. So I was surprised anyone see it jump like that. My guitar stuff, the Ghirardelli in Anacortes is sandwich deli type place. Best Ruben ever had. Really? Huh. Belarus. Got something in the Great North. World's oldest tree. It's one of those crazy pines. Go to the world's oldest tree. Going north. We are in... Where are we? I didn't realize where we were. Somewhere in Scandinavia? Well, the world's oldest tree doesn't have many pixels to it. Old Tinko. There it is. Oh, you guys can't see that. It's got a little thing around it. Old Chico? Old Chico? I have to go to the Old Chico. turn off that one. So this is Old Tico. Originally gained fame as the oldest tree, is however a clonal tree that has regenerated new trunks, branches, and roots. Okay. The age of the tree is determined by carbon dating of genetically matched plant material collected from under the tree. It does not work for clonal trees. The trunk itself estimated to be only a few hundred years old, but the plant has survived for much longer due to a process known as layering. When a branch comes in contact with the ground, it sprouts a new root. Vegetative cloning. The trunk dies, but the root system is still alive. It may sprout a new trunk. So it's thought to be 9,564 years old. Dang, son. You are old. Look at that. It was in Sweden, right near the border with Norway. List of oldest trees. Alright. Trees of verified ages: Prometheus, Great Basin bristlecone pine in Wheeler Peak, Nevada. 4,900 years. Methuselah, also another bristlecone pine, this time in White Mountains, California. 4,800 years. Those verified trees of estimated age: the Sisters, or Sisters olive tree, 6,000 years old in Lebanon. Great Basin bristlecone, another one in California, 5,000 years old. Dang. Okay, where is clonal trees? Unknown. Wait, what? King's Lomatia, 43,000 to 130,000 years old. Several hundred genetically identified individuals, although flowers, occasionally fruit production has never been observed and propagates vegetatively. Fossilized leaves are dated to at least 43,600 years old, found in sediments with a maximum age of 130,000 years. Okay. Pando, 14,000 to 80,000. Covers 107 acres. It's also the heaviest organism. Oh, it's the aspens, aspen groves. Yeah, those things all do by propagation as well. Dropa orc. It's 13,000 years old, some sort of oak. Oh, oak, not orc. And then Old Tico. Tree stems live no more than 600 years, but root system ages. Old Rasmus is a Norway spruce, also. And it's also found in Sweden. And, learn something new. I love the Wikipedia rabbit hole, man. I love it. There's a couple of trees called Methuselah. There's another redwood pine, coastal redwood pine. Alright. Alright. So, oldest tree, but then there's older ones somehow. John Vasquez, how high can GME possibly go? Cajillions. Second shift, with a lot of attention on BBBY for the moment. What does this price movement, both today's and what's to come, mean for GME? I think it means a whole bunch of people are going to get a whole bunch of money that they're going to use to buy a whole bunch of GME. That's what I think. It's going to be one of those things that pops. And if it pops high enough, it might start triggering everything else if people start getting margin called. And if it pops after September 1st, which is when the ISDA rule goes into effect, requiring margin for derivative trades for anyone who makes $8 billion a year in trades or more, then pretty much every family fund and hedge fund is going to have to come up with margin somehow in a market that has no cash liquidity. So it could result in margin calls, and those margin calls result in liquidations. Those liquidations will result in forced buying of securities they're short on, which means the price of every shorted stock is going to... It's way up there. So we're getting into this perfect storm realm, man. Perfect storm realm. That's what we're waiting for. I'm excited. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good fall for us. Kenny Sex, Bed Bath & Beyond will go Parabolic Tuesday. Monthly auction expires this Friday. T+2 means Tuesday, BBBY will go boom. If the price is up there, price is at $30, it's going to be a crazy week next week. Then the T13s happen the week after. Yeah. Dan Summit, Houston, happy birthday. Got any book recommendations I need to add to my list? Old West Ghost Town books. Got my copy of Kon-Tiki today. Just finished The Martian. Well, the one I talked about not too long ago is the best Ghost Town book, which is Ghost Towns of the West. This guy here. And I've been collecting my own Ghost Town stories, trying to update this thing, and I hope to create sort of an encyclopedia of this. It's more modern, because a lot of the towns in here have been bulldozed and gone, or they may have been absorbed by a nearby city, or they may be a boom town again because gold prices spiked. It's like Anaconda, Montana is listed here as a gold town. It has Walmarts and all sorts of stuff, gas stations, and 6,000 people living there. It's no longer a ghost town. I love this book. It is super informative for not only the histories of the areas. He does a great job with oral histories of folks, because he was touring these ghost towns in the 50s when some of the folks were still alive. You know, they were born in the 1800s. They could tell you all about what the town was like turn of the century, and what the bordellos were like, and the fights at the bars, and who the crime lords were and whatnot. And then he also goes pretty well into how the minerals were discovered, how the lumber was milled, the ports were used, stuff like that. It's the one I recommend. You can find this thing usually on Amazon or ABE Books, $20 somewhere around there. It is a wealth of knowledge. There's also versions that they publish that are just like region specific from that same author, of like ghost towns of like here, ghost towns of Northwest. This one here. This one's good. Lots of pictures of what you expect to see in these places, but the problem is that, again, a lot of these stories were written in the 1950s and 60s, and some of these buildings burned down in forest fires, vandals, whatnot. Ghost towns of California, Nevada ghost town trails. Come on, let go, New Orleans booty beats. Yeah, there's a lot of them, but the big one is Ghost Towns of the West. That's the king of the ghost town books. Right, Snoops, king of the ghost town books. Brandon T, happy 18th birthday, Houston. Do you ever have friends give you grief when you explain the stock plays? I have so many coworkers rolling their eyes when I tell them about AMC, GME, Sears, GMG. My friends go, okay, yeah, whatever. They don't care. A couple of my family members and siblings are like, oh, all right, I'll throw some money at that and just kind of see where it goes. And that's what they let me do the thinking for them in this case. And I say, don't do anything until I tell you to, and they go, all right. Prontal, Houston, would you choose any place in Alaska as a suitable place to live after Moas? I have no interest in living in Alaska, ever. I'll visit, but I don't want to live in Alaska. I don't like really dark winters, and I don't want sunshine all the time. And I don't want a 30-to-1 male-to-female ratio. That does not interest me at all. Nor do I want to get knifed to death at the bar, because they like to stab people in Alaska. I don't want to live in Alaska. White Wolf 1989. What happens if a bunch of people don't get their ape shares due to synthetics? That's a default, and defaults result in liquidation. My guess is that the DTCC is going to have the brokers create synthetics to put in there as placeholders, and we're going to go on the T90 default route. And then 90 days, if they have not come up with ape shares to replace those, they're going to be facing liquidations and forced buying of the ape shares, and the prices can go bam for both AMC and the ape shares. DVS just knows something cool. GME's 1.6 million fails that happened just after the split are going to be due on September 2nd, the same day that BBBY goes into threshold masterstroke. Perfect storm, baby. Wow. That's what's coming, my man. Yes. I'm stoked about it as well. I think it's going to be great. Just fantastic. Right, Monkey? Fantastic. Okay, Darren Bowen. 21 million after hours for BBBY. That's a lot. Yep. Chakuseki, don't forget Revlon guys building up Gamma for the next squeeze. Revlon's gonna be popping in there too. Revlon, there's only 5 million shares in the float. That's puny. Except there's an options chain. So there's more options currently for the various weeks out that are in the money than there are shares available by far. Revlon's gonna explode. Once people start exercising those options, it's gonna go, man. Dan Summit Houston, you buying Revlon? I have Revlon calls right now. They're up a little bit. I might swap them out for Bed Bath & Beyond calls. I don't know. I do think Revlon. I think Revlon's another one that could probably go to $100, and if it does, the calls I have now would be like $400,000. Decisions. What to do, man? What to do? I only have so much. I want to spread it amongst everything, but I don't have enough to do that. All right. Puda Kettleton, what's up with this guy and vaccines? I know science. That's what's up. Get vaccinated. Okay. Corey Ryder, Dutch Sinise, did I say that right? Dutch Sins was showing Hudson Bay boiling up recently too. That's probably methane releases causing lots of boiling. There's all sorts of like explosions that have happened from methane pockets exploding all across like Siberia. Yeah. So. SJ Houston, thoughts on necroplantology? Dead plants? Is that what necroplantology means? Oh, necroplanetology. Not plant. Where was that? Planetology. Oh, astronomers have discovered what may be dead stellar cores. Oh, white dwarfs. Okay, yeah. Studying, that's... Did not know that was a whole field of study called necroplanetology. Just thought it was astronomy. I mean, stars die. They outgas, schwunk, leave behind their cores, and then they leave pretty planetary nebulas, and eventually have little white dwarfs that cool off into black dwarfs, and that's it. Stars die. We can see lots of them. If you're lucky, they die in a white dwarf, and if you're unlucky, they explode and sanitize the surface of your planet. But if a supernova went off within 30 to 100 light years of us, it would kill everything on Earth. It would like double the output of our sun, give us so much neutron flux, it would just slice all our DNA until we just turn into puddles, and that'd be that. The Earth would rotate and just get cooked on all sides, and that'd be the end of every living thing on Earth, probably. All right. Whiplash, good morning from Sweden. What the hell happened with yesterday with AMC and many meme stocks? Short attack and FUD spread, man. Yeah. Blah blah blah. Houston had $7 and $9 calls that expired right before the run. Oh man, that sucks, doesn't it? You gotta either sell those things or roll them over. Try not to ever let them expire. Never get that close. Gregory Prince, how much longer till the S1 is approved for MMTLP? They said this month. It should take like 3 weeks to a month. So, they did it end of July. We are in August. Sometime this month. Fee rhymes with AMC, the need to use desalination plants. I think every thermal plant near an ocean needs to also be a desalination plant. So if you got a coal fire plant, an oil fire plant, a natural gas fire plant, a nuclear power plant, how those plants work is you make a lot of heat, you run pipes by it, it heats those pipes, turns those pipes into steam, the water into steam, and that steam turns turbines, and those turbines generate energy. You can pump seawater through those things. Steam boils off fresh water, distill it, boom, condenses into fresh water, use that. Take the salt, I don't know, do something with the salt, I don't give a shit. But eat it, whatever. But I think every single solitary plant that uses a steam turbine should be making fresh water. And then just, I don't know, making it snow on Colorado so that the Colorado River fills up. Something. Oh, Dutch Sense YouTube. I'll have to check that one out. Alright. John Donson made it to the live stream and leaving for work. Alright, John Donson. Check you later, man. What toys are behind your head? Some gifts and things. Got somebody sent me a Doc Brown doohickey from to the PO box. I got a genuine Ichiro bobblehead from a Mariners game. For some reason, my dad gave me a Quagmire bobblehead. I have no idea why, but all right. And then the same person sent me Doc Brown also sent me a DeLorean. So yeah, that's what I got behind me. Oh yeah, and then there's like one of those things you put on your dashboard that of Obama playing ukulele. I don't know. That's my toy collection. Right, Big Doug? Okay. Hans R. Wants to go traveling. All right, Hans, where are you taking us? Bam. Oops. Google Earth. There we go. Oh, we're back where we were. That same spot. Fool me twice. Okay. Stupid reset of the. Okay. Gregory Prince, Houston, what's the most incredible nature weather event you've ever witnessed with your own eyes? You had to be there to believe an event. Man. We've had some really incredible winter storms here. You know, hurricane force winds, knocked the power out for 3 weeks. When I was a kid, in December 1990, we had a storm that came out of nowhere. No one had predicted it. None of the weather guys had predicted it. We had this insane cold air flood out of Canada. Warm air come from the south. And I'll have to show the map here so you guys know what I'm talking about. Zoom out. Gotta go back to Puget Sound here. You guys can learn so much about local weather and geography and geology of Puget Sound. Halfway around the world, you don't care. Okay, but cold air likes to seep out of Canada, and it will oftentimes sneak along the Fraser River Canyon out and then dump into Vancouver and thus flood into Puget Sound. So you get some cold air that will come sneak over the Rockies, down the Fraser River Canyon, and into the Puget Sound. And it can be freakishly cold compared to the ocean air that comes off. And then we've got this weird thing of the Olympic Mountains here. And so if you have winds that are blowing across or from the south, where the cold air will meet the warm air causes what's called a convergence zone. This convergence zone of air coming from the north and air sweeping around the mountains from the south can be anywhere from Everett down to Tacoma, depending on where they meet, and make for some really spectacular weather events. So in December 18th, 1990, I believe it was right at the end of school, right before winter break. It just started snowing, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. All those kids like, whoa, it's snowing, yay! And then it got to be like 3 o'clock when the bus was supposed to come. The buses came, and the teacher like brought out the TV, watched Little Mermaid, and all of a sudden there's like 10 inches of snow out there, still no buses. The buses finally came at 7 o'clock at night, so we piled on the buses, and I was myself and my best friend were the last stop on the bus, and we had to show you where the school is. So here we go. So this is the elementary school. We had a bus route that went down this road, up this way, dropping kids off, all and then there's 2 crazy hills right here. There's one big hill, and it kind of does like 2 ways down, and there's a cemetery. And by this time, there's a foot of more snow on the ground, and the bus slid off the ditch, slid into the ditch, like across a lane of road into the ditch, and we're sideways. And we were there till maybe 9-10 o'clock at night, and a bunch of dads showed up with jeeps and trucks, and they literally like tore down the fence, the cemetery, and pulled the bus out of the ditch. And then we had one more stop at this corner, and then the last stop was my bus stop at Frog Rock. And so my best friend lived yonder, I lived down this road, maybe a quarter mile, and so around midnight we finally make it to Frog Rock, get off the bus, and I'm in a Mickey Mouse t-shirt and a pair of jeans, and 9 years old or whatever, and I have to post hole through the snow a quarter mile. The wind's blowing 110 miles an hour. There's thunder snow, so there's thunder and lightning going all over the place. The snow is falling like crazy. Trees are just and finally made it home. Made it home in here, and then we were trapped. We were trapped for weeks because this little road, it's a little loop, and it's about a mile-long loop that connects to 2 major roads. 70 Douglas fir trees, and we're stupid data died. Okay, not excellent collection saying it again. Okay, so I don't know how much of my story you missed. But anyway, men in the neighborhood collected a bunch of chainsaws and were siphoning gas out of everyone's cars to cut up the trees. During that time, there was the daughter of someone who lived maybe across the street. I don't remember it exactly too clearly, but anyway, there's a knock on the door at midnight, and my mom opened the door, and this woman just passed out in the doorway, and she's like, "Oh shit, this lady just like died in the doorway." And it was the daughter of somebody of a neighbor of ours who had been house sitting, and her parents were in Mexico or something. They missed the whole storm, and her appendix burst, and she managed to like crawl to our house, knock on the door, and then we had no way to get her anywhere because all these trees were down, and so the neighbors like basically carried her through the snow, got her to Frog Rock, where they like carried her a quarter mile or so, got her to Frog Rock, where some 4-wheel drive truck was there, able to get onto that truck and then drive her to the hospital, and she lived. That was crazy. But yeah, that was probably the wildest storm I was in. We missed so much school that year. Power was out for so long. My first white Christmas also. I was in a hurricane in Okinawa. That was pretty cool. Like blades of grass stuck into palm trees and stuff. I've seen water spouts. I've seen tornadoes pretty close while on the highway in South Dakota. Yeah, those are probably the craziest ones. Oh. Just in my head, how to convince my wife that wanting to go on a tornado chasing tour isn't crazy or unsafe. It's not. You just get all the little maps and updates, I need to go find those suckers, man. Get it. Yeah. Oh, from Derrico. We had a Derrico come through this past fall. We had a tornado warning. I was like, what the hell? And then a huge tree crashed in my backyard, and I finally got that thing mostly moved out of the way because wood finally dried up. I tried in the wintertime. It was way too wet and heavy. But it's finally like dried out, and I was able to toss into a pile. Hell of a workout, man. I still need to chainsaw up a couple of pieces, but man, I moved a giant big leaf maple tree that was in my yard for 9 months out of the way. But yeah, show her a bunch of YouTube videos of storm chasers not dying. That's probably your best bet there, Justin. Like, see how cool this is and how awesome these nerds are, going around tempting fate. DVS shorts have shorted twice as hard today versus the day before. They have doubled down twice now on their shorts. When this blows up, it'll be a proper MOAS. DVS, I like your confidence. I like that. All right, Pariterre and German market within the first 5 minutes has dropped $1. Oh, baby. Keep dropping. Nom, 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 nom. I'm going to gobble up calls on Bed Bath & Beyond. It's going to be delicious. Just a fork and knife. Oh, oh. DVS from down under. It's got one for us. The longest wooden jetty in the world. Which I also where I live, more or less. A wooden jetty. Let's see this. My guess is we are going down under. Oh, here we are. Whoa, look at that. That is a very long jetty. Holy smokes. Bustleton Jetty. So this must be Bustleton out here on the west coast of Australia. So how far from Perth are you? That's a decent distance from Perth. You are 120 miles, a couple hours from Perth. All right, noted. Bustleton. Looks like you got some fantastic blue waters down here, though. Longest wooden jetty pier in the southern hemisphere, stretching almost 2 kilometers out to sea from the town of Bustleton, Western Australia, because the shallow... Oh, I forget you guys can't read these when it's just a little window. There we go. Constructed in 1864, opened in 1865. Jetty extended numerous times until the 1960s, ultimately reaching a length of 1,800 meters, almost 2 kilometers. The last commercial vessel called at the jetty in 1971, and the jetty was closed the following year. It passed into the control of Bustleton Shire, which gradually restored and improved since. The jetty has survived Cyclone Albi in 1978. Weather, several fires, threat demolition, major regional tourist attraction. Well, I'll go walk that thing. So the railway relic along it as well. Huh. So it's closed shipping by proclamation of the Western Australian government. Why was it closed shipping? Were the ships like bonking it too much? Oh, it started to deteriorate because of wood borers and rot. Occasional fire. Just occasional fire here and there. Wilson jetty from the air. That's a nice long pier. So my guess is it must be extremely shallow until you get way out here. And that's why they had to have that there. Interesting. Interesting. Cyclone Albi, Western Australia. A rare occurrence. Destroyed a large part of the shore end of the jetty. Suppose the townspeople band together, try and save jetty. And... Alright. Interesting. A water slide adjacent to the landward end. Built wrapping around the existing lighthouse tower. driven by pumped seawater in 2011, which was occupied by the water slide associated museum. Lighthouse eventually demolished. Oh, that's a bummer. I like water slides. Who doesn't like a water slide? Everyone likes water slides. Water slides are amazing. Okay. No love for the big dog. Big dog, you're just a giant monster, aren't you, big doofus? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You got 3 weeks, buddy. 3 weeks, and then you're going back to the sister's house. Rocket Mang, I sold cover calls at BBBY 2 weeks ago to recoup some cash for OPEX and missed out on $30K in the last few days. Welcome to the party there, Rocket Mang. Welcome to the party. I could be up like 80 grand right now. Instead, I'm not up anything at all. So, well, what's a year and a half's wages like I made in a week? That's nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. Stupid Houston. Okay. Daphne, I thought liquidity was supposed to be drying up and their ability to short hard would be diminished. What it gives, in your opinion? The fact that market makers have infinite liquidity. Liquidity can't dry up if you can invent shares from thin air infinitely. Those market makers are going to meet capital requirement problems at some point. When everyone else starts getting margin called and they see their holdings just evaporate, they may lose some market maker statuses here and there. But it's going to take the SEC actually digging deep and looking at this stuff, and there would be so much going on. I don't know when that would happen. But this is why, we've had people buy the entire float of a stock, convert that stock into paper shares, take those paper shares, put them into a sock drawer so that no shares, physical shares whatsoever, can trade, and then for the next 2 days watch 60 million shares trade. That is what we're dealing with. Infinite liquidity and bad actors in the market. And it doesn't take much to become a market maker. Lots of hedge funds over the past 5 years have gotten market maker status and are allowed to just short like crazy with no repercussions. So, MOAS is going to be some repercussions, though. These guys are going to lose so much money that I don't think they're going to survive. And I think that's going to take a complete rewrite of market regulations to ensure that something like this doesn't happen again. Dame Horatia, can you only make real money on calls? I only bought 45 Bed Bath & Beyond ages ago. Not sure whether buying now is too late. I have no idea about calls. Calls are a great way to more often than not lose a bet. But when it wins big, it wins huge. Right now, looking at the Delta hedge, the price action, the ensuing gammas, the T13 coming up on the second, is that Bed Bath & Beyond is pretty much a guaranteed green. So investing in calls, which essentially gives you the profit of having 100 shares without having 100 shares, if that makes sense. Like you're buying a contract that says, okay, I'm going to have a contract at X price. Say the stock is trading at $20. You buy a contract at $25 for $500 when it would cost you, $2,500 to buy that many shares. So you buy the rights to the contract for $500. If the price goes above that $2,500, you get to buy that stock for $25 when it could be trading at $30 or $40 or whatever. If you use the contract as a cash cow and that stock price goes to $30, then you made $500 profit. If it goes to $40, then you made $1,500 profit. If it goes to $100, you just made $8,500 profit on that contract. So you basically got the profit you would get from those 100 shares if you bought at 25 and the price went to $100 or whatever. Sorry, $7,500. It's $100. And without having to buy all 100 shares right away. You just basically just took the profit from that on that bet. You can still exercise those shares, hold them for longer if you want at a cheap price, or you can just sell the contract and collect the cash. Those are your options with options, and that's why people play with them. People who do what are called lotto tickets, well, they'll get something that is obscenely high. People are doing this with GameStop. They're buying $300 call options when GameStop was trading at $1, and they got them for a penny each. And when the price hit $300, each one of those things were worth $1,000 or more, right? So, if you bought 100 of those at 1 cent, so you basically got for each one paid $1. So pay $100 for 100 contracts, and all of a sudden those contracts are worth $100,000. Not too shabby, right? Folks who did the $80 Bed Bath & Beyonds a week and a half ago, when we're trading at 30 cents. So $30 for a contract, 30 cents per share for 100 shares, so $30 are now worth $500. Not too shabby to have 1,500% gain on something like that. If I had dumped my cash in there, I'd have $100,000, and that'd suck. It sucks to have that money to play with. It really just sucks. Okay, can't win them all. You can win some, but not all. All right. Okay. Where am I looking? Okay. A non-C-SPAN lover, thanks for the previous answer and consideration. Can't wait to rep you for Kentucky, Lexington Strong. Woo! All right, Kentucky, we're going to raise some money for you on Charity Tuesday this month. BTW brand, one thing people are not talking about is options that exist prior to August 22nd will be combined of AMC and APE. So APE would need to be delivered or paid out for those options. Yep. And there are more shares tied into that options chain than APEs that will exist. Because there's a whole bunch of yearlies that exist, and a bunch of stock that were made for the monthlies from now until January that are going to have to be tied in and have apes associated with them that just simply don't exist. So every time the stock goes in the money, those options go in the money, they're going to have to find the ape shares somewhere, and they don't have them because a lot of those options are naked. So you have to go out and buy both, and I think it's going to be wild. And the ape shares are going to trade on T+0, so you cannot have an options chain, you cannot lend, you cannot sell naked. So there's going to be some real fighting to buy those shares for everybody. Okay, online weed delivery services in modern society's last great idea. Kronk, what's the name of the stock with glucose monitors? No Labs, KNWN. They are in FDA-approved human trials right now. They just recently filed an S1 to ask to move from the OTC to the New York Stock Exchange, which tells me that their human trials are going well. That they're like, all right, we're going to go play with the big boys now and do that. They don't know how to speak squirrel. You just go angrily at things. Okay. Ham, Houston, what grade level do you teach again? I teach college level. I teach at some colleges here in the Seattle area. Ham, is 300 GME shares enough? Or 30? If the price goes to scary heights, yes, and you manage to sell in there, totally. But I'm not taking the chance, and I'm still gobbling up as many as I can. I want to get to 1,000 shares of GameStop. Because if I'm wrong about my estimations, and it's not going to go to 5, 6, 7 figures at some point for people in the absolute peak of the trading, it will at least get to 4 figures, and that's $1 million. So I can do stuff with $1 million. I can definitely reinvest in the S&P 500, have that double, triple for me in that amount of time, and I can be cool with that. I can live off of that, and that's, hedge my bets. Mighty Mouse, aren't we supposed to be close to 235 or Big? Isn't the 90 days up in October? Big 90 days should be up next month, right? Because it was May 27th, June. No, this month. Or 90 trading days. Which one is it? DVS might be able to help. Is it 90 trading days or is it 90 days total? I can't remember. But either end of this month or sometime in September is when Big for the Tide thing should be going. But I don't know what's going on with that stock, man. They stopped trading for a while, finally went live again yesterday, and it rocketed. It went up from 70 cents to $1.40 or whatever, so it doubled. Still a long ways from where I bought. I bought at $6.30 last year. So long ways to go until I get my money back from that sucker. I don't know. Big does what Big does. They announced that they're launching their social media platform. It's supposed to be some sort of competitor for TikTok. And if TikTok gets removed from American markets because of its Chinese ownership and spying on Americans, then they might be the game in town for short video formats. That's, I think, kind of their hope. DVS, not fixed 90 days like you say, but it's likely Tuesday next week for Big. What is Tuesday next week? Tuesday is the 23rd? Okay. All right, noted. Thank you, DVS. I knew you'd have those dates in there. It's a great thing about running one of these channels. If I know the answer, somebody is going to know the answer in the chat. And then I just read that and I go, oh, there it is. Yay. Okay. The idea behind waiting to cover is finding a lower price to cover at. Yep. And if the price never gets lower, then you're screwed. And that's where we want them. Mount St. Funk, when I exercised an AMC call last June 2021, took the broker a week to get the shares to me. I called 3 times. They said that they were working on it. Seemed shady. That's probably because there weren't the shares available. It probably was shady. Ham, if you had 5K to play money, options, or shares for BBBY. If I had 5K, I would dump it into Bed Bath & Beyond options. Man. I had 50 of them. I had 50 $9.50 call options. They were set to expire September 2nd. They're worth like 80 grand right now. I had them and I sold them like an idiot last Friday. Anyway, But yes, I would go for BBBY options if I had that money. Not financial advice, not financial advisor, but yes. Yes, DVS options are expensive because there's a lot of implied volatility because the stock price is going oh, wow, 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 and it caused the price to go a lot. Okay. Oh, I see the hot boys and girls made it into the chat here today. Excellent. Good. You didn't make it in the chat last time. They're hot boys and girls, but you made it today. So I welcome back. Again, hot boys and girls, nude HD XYZ, whatever. If you donate on Charity Tuesday, I'll let you post whatever you want. But you have to donate on Charity Tuesday, otherwise it doesn't count. All right, nude XYZ, get your checkbook out. Donate to our Charity Tuesday on August 30th, and you can post your heart's content. I'll tell the mods to back off, let you just post Adult Dating Site 1,000 times if you donate. So keep that in mind. Okay. Cocaine crypto, I'm expecting a lot of shenanigans, just like with GME, but for Bed Bath & Beyond. But now, short hedge funds have to deal with both GME and Bed Bath & Beyond, which makes things interesting. Not only that, they got to deal with whatever the ape shares are going to do. And they got to deal with Revlon. And they got to deal with the fact that earnings calls for a lot of major retailers are... And that housing prices are collapsing, mortgage-backed securities are worthless, that they're not getting paid back in bonds, that the economy itself is going to grind to a halt and collapse under the weight of their previous shenanigans. It's just shenanigans on top of shenanigans. Every time they do a shenanigan, it just compounds the problems. Right, big doofus? Yes, right. Yes, look at that nose. Look at that nose. Right, big dog? Well, you want to breathe on me some more. You love breathing on me. Okay. Iggy Limon, Houston, you can make soap or detergent from excess salt or brine. You run it through an autoclave. You could give it out free to people who can't afford these things. All right. I have never made soap. Don't you like fat or something in there also to make soap? And I don't know. All I know about soap making is from watching Fight Club. Mount St. Funk had a tornado bounce over my house. Softball-sized hail was falling, destroyed my elementary school, so we had school at the high school gymnasium rest of the year. But it didn't sound like a train. I was in a pretty big hailstorm in South Dakota, and I guess there was a bigger one after I left. Like, dropped several inches of hail on the ground, big ones, dented a lot of cars, and it was during Sturgis, so all these motorcycles got ruined. And then I guess they had like 3 feet of hail and stuff that was like baseball size, and it just destroyed buildings and then filled up all the walkways of the stores and then melted and flooded everything. Just gnarly. Ben Bacall Estates pre-market. You think it goes up or second to catch a little lower than previous close? Oh man, I'm hoping BBig goes down a smidge and drops the price of calls so that it drops some levels and I can pick up stuff that's lower down on the pole there. That's what I'm hoping for, right, Big Doofus? Yep, that's what Big Dog's hoping for as well. Maybe your brand survived a hurricane? Man. Away today, I was on a ship, Crystal Ball, and a Hurricane Janine never made landfall in the Gulf of Mexico as a young child, 10 years of age. I can't imagine being a hurricane on a boat. That would suck. I mean, the hurricane I was in Okinawa, we were in a concrete apartment building, so like we could hear the wind and everything just going gnarly outside, but the building didn't budge because the walls were this thick. It was the aftermath the next day, like seeing like chunks of fence posts and literally like I don't know if it's like a long piece of like grass or part of a palm frond, but literally like the wind was blowing 200 miles an hour and a blade of grass was stuck into a tree like a knife, like whoosh. Did not know that could happen. Just imagine that you're a person and you just like get a hole drilled through you by a blade of grass. Like I wouldn't have. I don't think as a little 8-year-old Houston in Okinawa I would have survived taking a blade of grass to the chest at 200 miles an hour. Of course, I was just blown away. Also, I've been blowing with it 200 miles an hour, so it wouldn't have affected me then. But man, whew. That thing's overly wrong. Well, St. Funk, it happens fast. I was outside, ran inside, jumped in the closet. Hail hit my neighbor in the head. He thought it was a rocket through at him. Man, getting hit with one of those hailstones from that high up. If you look on like Copart or AIA auctions, like half the cars in RVs and stuff that are for sale there are hail damage. Because the sunroofs are blasted out, windscreens are all, cars look like golf balls. It's just pocked. Hail's insane. Darren Hia, Houston, I only have 310 GME shares, 311 GME shares. Is that enough to retire? Hope. You're like in the same boat as me, man. So that's why I'm trying to pile on more when I can. Get these BBBY calls to pay off. Take that, throw it into some GameStop, and add to it as much as I can. BW Brand, the SEC wasn't government run but was privately held with government oversight, it'd be more effective. Currently treated like cash cow. I don't know. The DTCC is privately run with government oversight, and they seem to be really corrupt. I think if the SEC were law enforcement and you were not allowed to have ever worked in the financial sector or leave the SEC to work in the financial sector. If you work the SEC, you have to sign a non-compete of some kind. You will never be allowed to work in financial services. Because what happens is they bounce back and forth, and that's where all the shady shit happens. And if you made it so they could never bounce back and forth, then I think you'd have a much more effective. I think gave them law enforcement powers, a much more effective agency. I got him. Nicole Wynn, Houston, can the brokerages get away with not issuing APE? Nope. Nope, cannot. Michael F. came in late. Houston, what are your thoughts on AMC price for the next couple of weeks? I bet they try to hammer it down over the next couple of weeks while they can. They'll probably have a whole bunch of failure to delivers come up from the gamma that we had last week. So we'll see a T35 date somewhere around then. We might see another boost. But until the APE shares get to that T plus 90, we probably won't see a huge explosion at AMC unless it rises with the tide of everything else. Be my guess anyway. Jersey, a most wanted man alive. What does this even mean? What does that mean, buddy? Oops, wrong one. That one. Oops, seen, yes. Google Earth. A most wanted man alive. It's a mansion. Whose mansion is that? It's a very nice mansion. On a river? Where am I? Am I in Russia? I am... Yeah. I'm in Russia. Who's the wanted man? Is this where like Edward Snowden is hanging out or something? Tell me, Jersey. Tell me. It's got its own double lane road that goes right here. Its own parking lot. Interesting. I bet you get good gold out of that river. Just looking at the mountains around it, looks like it'd be very gold rich. Just, you know, as a river guy. Firefighter speed camera. When we get MOAS, do you think you could buy 50 cameras for the room? Sure. All DSLR, all varying focal lengths. And you just hit buttons at home and just change whichever top of my head, back of my head, up my skirt, whatever. Spying on TikTok is just spying on the worst aspects of the country. SS Minnow Johnson, how do you mitigate cap gains taxes on such profit? The last few years pay 50%. Hold longer, create a holding company, or form some sort of tax-free trust. Those are the shady ways you do it. Joe Rocco asking if things bounce back today. They might. I bet there'll be more of a bounce back on Friday, maybe later in the afternoon when that T+2 hits from Tuesday. But it's coming back. Don't worry. Don't think about it day to day. Think about it as eventually it's going to explode, and you'll be here for it. That's the Zen attitude you gotta take. Is that you might go, oh my gosh, it's down today, but you're going to win eventually. You're going to be a winner. Things are going to change. I can feel it. Okay. All right. I'm going to read the last few here. We're at the bottom. I want to thank 300 of you hanging out in the middle of the night or early morning in Europe or evening time and on the other side of the date line. Thank you, folks, everybody. I appreciate you jumping in here. Okay. All right. So, BBBY Brands explaining that the 144, yeah, it's a requirement for him to file that if he's going to have that much shares. Because technically, even though he's not insider, he's considered insider because he owns so many shares in the company. He's not a member of the board or making decisions. He just happens to own a lot of the shares. And he's going to have to file 144 every 90 days to have any right whatsoever to do anything with his shares. So that's what happens when you end up with 10% of the company or more. Putin's bunker. Okay, that's his fancy bunker. It's a long ways to get out there. Must be a little airport nearby. Something. I don't see one. I see highways, but I don't see anything else. Huh. Broke Ape, it's funny because Revlon shouldn't need a squeeze. Being in a recession, makeup does good. But I guess all the millennials are buying Rihanna products. I think the big thing is that during the lockdown and during COVID, people wearing masks, wearing half the makeup, or they were working from home, not wearing any makeup. So makeup sales probably plummeted. My guess is they'll pick up because people are out and about again. All right, everybody. I made it to the end. Woohoo! It's probably going to be a scorcher on Friday, like 94 degrees or something. So it might be another nighttime show for me on Friday. I'm still trying to get lined up with AMC Bigums. Hopefully we'll get them for Friday. He said this week was good, and then I didn't hear back from him again. We'll try. We'll try. Until then, enjoy your weekend.